This is that Peavey Butcher I had done the live stream on earlier today. If you watch that, link below, you can see me change out all these caps and the caps here and put it all back together at this point. After that, I cleaned all this area up and got all the flux off, changed out the 4 screen grid resistors from 100 ohms to 1K, 5 watts, replaced a missing nut and washer on this output jack, tightened all the output jacks. This comically large 100 microfarad, 100 volt cap is temped in. It's supposed to take a 25 volt 100 microfarad, which I may fish out a radial that'll do that. It's actually on the center of the hum balance pot going to ground, which is kind of not my favorite approach to grounding a heater supply. So I may do something different on the hum balance. Anyway, it is time to power it on for the first time since the amp first came in, and I could tell that I didn't even have to power it on then, the filter caps were visibly leaking. So let's power it on with the current limiter, see what happens. The power LED comes on. No big glow from my bulb, that's good. I'll verify bias and all that later. This thing doesn't have a bias adjustment. It is going to be cold from the factory. Got 117 volts coming out of the wall on this chilly October day. It was 123 yesterday. Let's take it out of standby. Just a very modest glow on the filament of my light bulb limiter. That's normal on a 100 watt amp. I'll turn the master up. That's pretty promising. A little bit of needs to be cleaned up on that pot. That's no big deal. The lows. You clean the mids pot. So far very promising. I'm going to plug a guitar in. I'm going to keep the current limiter on for a while, even if it makes LEDs be a little bit dim, just in case something's wrong with one of these tubes. These are the original tubes it came in with, and they're probably original to the amp, judging by cosmetics. And sometimes a tube that's bad takes 15-20 minutes before it's like, yeah, I'm going to kill something. So I'm going to leave that current limiter on for a while, just to be sure. This is actually a friend's Epiphone hollow body, so not the typical choice for this. If I get too much feedback, whatever, I'll switch guitars. Keep the master a little bit low in deference to the lav mic, and fish out a pick. All right, let me clean that pot before I even try to play, because that's not good. Someone was asking in the live chat, but I didn't see it at the time, how to clean a pot, especially since it's hard to reach. Well, pots have little openings in them, typically, and you can just fish one of these deoxit tubes into it most of the time. And I have this deoxit has the old style small tube, not the big one that they're trying to push off on us these days. I may have to turn this upside down to do a reapplication. But on this small one, I can adjust the amount of spray, and I have it set to do a small amount. It cleaned up just fine. A little bit of left, but not like it was. Let's try that with the guitar again. I don't know if the preamp tubes are healthy. They're JJ's, and they've been in there a while, judging by the dust on them. So I got some more pots to clean up. Let me tap on some tubes. We're good as far as that goes. No issue with the power tubes. This Epiphone's got really low output mini humbuckers, so I'm not going to judge the sound of the amp based on that. I'll grab one of my more rock appropriate guitars for further testing, but this was already sitting here cleaned the pots really thoroughly. Make sure, I need to make sure all these nuts are tight. These are, but I don't know about the pots nuts. But I think we're in a pretty good place. The amp is no longer making horrible noises, and I think this is going to be a very happy ending for the owner. All right, a bunch of stuff cleaned up. This amp in general is pretty much a JCM 800 2203. Let me show you a key thing. Here's the noise floor. Here's the noise floor once it's in the cabinet and it's shielded, so it drops dramatically. So we're in the low gain input. Let me put the tone stack all at noon and the presence about 10 o'clock. Not a bad place to be on most JCM 800s. Sounds like a JCM 800, you know. You got to turn the preamp up a lot to get a loud clean on those. I could turn the master up even more, but it would not be good for this mic here. And with the gain on 10, the master on 10, that's really not much noise. Turn it down to about 2 o'clock there, 1:30, 2 o'clock. Very usable. So all that's good. Then switch over to the high gain side, which uses one more triode. And we go to the bridge humbucker. Now that's problematic. Before I beat myself up, I'm going to adjust the hum balance pot on the heater supply. I already mentioned that I'm not a big fan of how they're doing that on this amp. It's still there, but it's minimized there. Let's see how it is when I go a bit more. All right, right there. That's as quiet as it gets. Let me try that again with the guitar. All right, I would say that right now, pending triple checking tubes for making sure all the 3 preamp tubes are still putting out a strong signal, and triple checking the bias, that right now the amp is operating as designed. And I will call the owner with all this good news. And I don't know whether he just got this or he's been using it for a long time, if he's always loved it, or if he's always like, I wish it wasn't quite so bright, because it's a really bright amp, as is a 2203. And there's some very easy ways to make these things a little smoother without radically, not trying to make it into a different amp, just a little different voicing. But this is such a much better place to be than we were when we started.